friends. I thought today we could talk a little bit about books. I'm gonna talk about all the books that I read this spring. Little disclaimer, I was really good with using the public libraries recently, so I actually only have one book here with me to show you in the real world. So I'm just gonna put the covers of the editions that I read on the screen somewhere. I'm sorry, that's not really ideal. Also, don't mind the pimple patch. I was a little bit violent and picked on my skin, which is a very bad habit. Anyway, I got my mug of coffee. So if you wanna also make yourself a little beverage, pause the video and go ahead. So I have here my little book and movie journal where I try to write reviews about every movie I watch and book I read. So they're just very short reviews, ratings, just so that I can remember what it was about, the book or the movie. Let's just start with March. Starting off very, very strong, I finally read Call Me By Your Name. I know I'm very, very late to it. I can't even start to describe this book. It's deeply sad, it's so touching, so emotional. It's about a summer in northern Italy. It's a queer book. The narrator is Elio and he is a 17-year-old boy in northern Italy. They have a summer guest, the family's house, every summer, and in this summer he falls in love with the guest, Oliver. I do not like Oliver. I heard and read a lot of negative reviews somehow because people say it's not a good romance. But it's not supposed to be a romance. It's about obsession, it's about toxic age gaps. It is also just so beautifully written, it's so poetic, it's so touching. If you want to read a book that makes you feel all the feels, go and read Call Me By Your Name, and it's popular for a reason. And I gave it 4.5 stars. Not 5 stars because I don't know if I'm too picky about endings, but I just felt like it went on for too long. Then next I read a very short book, which is Spy of the First Person by Sam Shepard. Now I just picked this up from the library without knowing anything about the author or the book. I just wanted to read a short book and the cover kind of spoke to me, so I just picked it up. Later I found out that he is a very good friend of Patti Smith, and I do really like Patti Smith. This is the last work of Sam Shepard, and he writes this as he is dying. And it actually is like him spying on himself, kind of. Like he writes about himself as kind of a different person. I don't know. I can't really explain it. What really made me emotional is kind of how it speaks of, you know, losing independence and control over your body and your life as you die, as you're getting older, and how you need to depend on others for simple tasks again, like going to the toilet and everything. I don't know, it was very raw, and it almost feels like you shouldn't be reading this because it feels too personal. If you want a short, beautiful book to read in one sitting, go ahead and read Spy of the First Person by Sam Shepard. I think Patti Smith even helped him finish writing the book, and I give it 4 stars. Next we have Normal People. Again, a really, really popular book. I really wanted to kind of tackle my TBR because I have so many books that I just really wanted to have read that were very popular, that I wanted to have an own opinion about. So I did read Normal People by Sally Rooney. Now I'm a little bit scared of giving my review about this book because it's very loved, but I did not really like it somehow. What I found really confusing first is the absence of quotation marks. Is that what you call them? I found it a bit confusing. Then I felt like this was supposed to be like this very relatable love story. First of all, I'm just not big on romance at all anyway. They were supposed to be relatable, but I just found it was full of stereotypes, kind of. Didn't like any of the characters. I also didn't like the ending. I just didn't enjoy myself. I did not like Normal People, and I'm very sorry. I gave it 2.5 stars. I'm sorry. So then I went to Italy with my mom. I went to Florence. Such a beautiful city. I had a blast, apart from getting my phone stolen. But there I bought Nausea by Jean-Paul Sartre. It's a philosophical debut novel by the existentialist philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre. This was a brilliant book. It was amazing, but it was kind of a hard read for me. Because you kind of have to think a lot, and it's not very fast-paced. It's a lot of inner monologue, which is very interesting, but just it's not a page turner. I love how very abstract thoughts are put into words so well that you can really feel them yourself. You can relate to the narrator, Antoine Roqueta. He's a very strange narrator. It's insane. It's a great book, but it's kind of a hard read, and I don't know, it's really cool if you kind of like to read philosophical books. This is obviously a classic, and I gave it 4 stars. And then I got into a big reading slump. I don't really know if it is a reading slump, but I just read a lot less because I was traveling a lot. I've never traveled that much, and I kind of just didn't make as much time for reading. So I kind of did not read for an entire month, which is kind of sad. But at the same time, I just kind of didn't prioritize it as much, and I did a lot of other very nice stuff. And I almost didn't film this video because of that, because I thought, well, I didn't read enough to do this video. But I wanted to talk about books, so I'm just gonna film it anyway. And I think maybe that's relatable. But then I was in Edinburgh, and the first book I read there was The Catcher in the Rye, which I hated. I'm so sorry, I really hated this book. I know why it is a classic. Some people say it's the male equivalent to the bell jar, but it is so frustrating. It's just rambling. The ending makes no sense, and everything makes no sense, and I know why it's, as I said, why it's considered a classic, and I get that. I can appreciate it for that, but I didn't like it, and I gave it 2 stars. I'm sorry. But then I read If We Were Villains, and now I know why people kind of don't like it sometimes, because it's kind of very similar to The Secret History, and some people say that the author copied Donna Tartt a lot, which I get, but I'm not ashamed to say I gave it 5 stars. It's amazing. It's so fun. It's so fun. I would say it's just a lot less layered and complex as The Secret History. With The Secret History, you kind of need to read a lot between the lines. The characters are much more layered. I don't know, they're much more like real people. There's much more to analyze, I think, and you can make more theories about different things. There are a lot of things happening at the same time. If We Were Villains is just also very much of a dark academia book, which I love. It's also about 7 friends at a very elite school. They are acting students, they study Shakespeare, and it's also about the death of a friend. It has been quite a while since I was obsessed with a book like this, you know, when you just cannot put it down and you take it everywhere, you read every minute that you have time for the book. That was me with If We Were Villains. It was so good. I loved it. And I will reread it. I also just thought the characters were so lovable, and I love when characters are lovable, and I also really did like the ending. I think the ending, I'm picky about endings, and I loved this ending. It was so good. The first book in May was Girl Interrupted. Girl Interrupted is one of my favorite movies because I am obsessed with Winona Ryder. She's my favorite actress. The movie is very different from the book though. I would say they are just both very good but different. It reminded me kind of a lot of the Bell Jar. If you like the Bell Jar, you would probably like Girl Interrupted. Surprisingly, it's a very easy read. It is also a memoir from the author. Susanna Kaysen wrote this about her own life. It's kind of a little bit less, it's also less poetic than the Bell Jar. I need to stop comparing it to the Bell Jar, but it is kind of similar vibe. I think Susanna Kaysen wrote this from a healed place. She wrote this probably after she had struggled with her mental health a lot. I think she just was in a much better place when she wrote it. So yeah, I gave it 5 stars. It was amazing. I had actually so much fun reading it. I thought this would be a little bit more of a hard read. Yeah, it was fun. I recommend. Then I read Breakfast at Tiffanys. I don't know. I like the movie better. I watched the movie first as well, and going into this I didn't know that it was short stories, so it was only the first story of the book, and the other stories are kind of hit or miss. Like, I liked some of them. I'm not big on short stories, I have to be honest, because I always need some time to get into a story, and when I'm into the story, like 40 pages in, the story was already over. I really liked the last story the best, like the Christmas story. This is really cute, so I like that one. It's kind of easy to read, so I give it 3 stars. Then I read The Maidens, another Dark Academia book. I love Dark Academia books. So The Maidens was kind of, the writing was very simple. It was very easy to read. It was also kind of a page turner. I think the narrator is not super lovable. It's a woman called Mariana, and she's a therapist, and she kind of wants to solve this murder. It's kind of a murder mystery, which is something I don't usually read because I don't know why actually. It was really fun. And I think the ending was also really good. I thought it was a little bit too abrupt. Like, I thought it could go on for a little bit longer, because as soon as you found out who it was kind of over already. Just like some characters, I wanted to know about some characters, how it ended for them, but I don't know, that's just me. Then my favorite book of the spring. The best book that you're gonna hear about in this video is gonna be now. It is On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous. My heart. If you need to feel something, read this book. You're gonna be bawling your eyes out. It's amazing. It's brilliant. It is so poetic, heart-wrenchingly beautiful. It makes you think a lot. It leaves you staring at the wall. I also can't believe this is a debut novel. It's incredibly raw. It's an exploration of masculinity and class and inequality overall, and this book is kind of like a letter from a son to his illiterate mother. I couldn't stop thinking about it. Still, I can't stop thinking about it since I read it, and it's so beautiful. Highly, highly recommend, and I obviously gave it 5 stars. Then I read Arlington Park by Rachel Cusk. This was my second Rachel Cusk book. I read Outline first a few months ago in winter, and I need to say that I actually did like Arlington Park better. It's basically about a town, about a suburban town in the UK. The book is happening all in one day, and it kind of shifts from household to household and always in the perspective of a woman. This kind of made me realize that I really don't want any children or a husband. I'm good. It is very raw and honest about the female experience, and it's just, Rachel Cusk is a genius, and I actually love her writing. It's just, again, not a page turner. It's not like it's kind of almost short stories again, because it always shifts from household to household. It doesn't really grab your attention. You kind of need to, at some points, had to force myself a little bit to keep reading and to finish reading, but I'm glad I did read it, and I'm really glad that I gave Rachel Cusk a second chance. I gave it 3.5 stars. Then I read A Movable Feast by Ernest Hemingway. A crazy book. A crazy book. It's amazing, but at the same time I find it kind of crazy that it is actually fiction, because he is name dropping and he also uses his own name, but it is fiction. I'm actually wondering if Scott Fitzgerald is actually that annoying. It was a great book and it was really funny, and it also really made me want to go to Paris. I think I'm gonna go with my mom this autumn to Paris, and it made me so excited for Paris. It's just about the experience of being a writer in Paris at that time and being poor as a writer and, you know, trying to be a writer. And I really liked it. So these were my spring books. That's all of them. I didn't read more. As I said, I didn't read for an entire month. So these were my spring books. I would love to make a little bit more book videos, kind of. Also, I need to be a little bit kinder to myself about not reading very fast, because I also need to remind myself I only started reading books in English like 2 years ago. I really like English literature, but then also I think that English translations of other languages often are much better than German translations. I just talked about like about March, April and May. I'm not gonna do like the spring, like when spring really ends. Is it still spring? I find it so confusing. On June 1st it's summer to me, and on September 1st it's autumn to me. So yes, I'm excited. Thank you for hanging out. It was fun. I liked talking about books. If you made it this far, please comment your favorite book you read this spring. And I also just want to say that I am kind of sad right now about obviously everything that's happening in Palestine. I am very sorry that I have been keeping a little bit quiet about it. I didn't talk about it. I just want to say that I'm thinking a lot about the people there and it breaks my heart. Just wanted to put that out there, and I have such a huge respect for Greta Thunberg. Love you, and I'll see you very soon.